game of Flesh and Blood TCG. This time we have Havok on the left versus Dole on the right. So Havok is going to be playing Brute here, and Dole is playing Mechanologist. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. I don't know too much about the specific cards that each player is fielding here. We do see an amusing situation where it looks like both players are running Gambler's Gloves. So this is a card that's popular with Brute players. It basically is a card where you can destroy it to reroll a die after you see the result. So if you do something that has a die roll mechanic and you get a bad result, you can use this to reroll it. Now, the interesting thing about this, though, is that it can actually apply to dice that you don't control or that you didn't roll. It can apply to dice that your opponent rolled. So we actually see our Mechanologist player equipping the Gambler's Gloves also. Okay, so then we see a Breakneck Battery played here. As an additional cost to play it, discard a random card. If the discarded card has 6 or more attack, it gains Go Again. So it does have 6 or more attack, and that is going to trigger an Intimidate. So Brute's Rhinar Reckless Rampage, his ability here is when you discard a card with 6 or more attack during your action phase, Intimidate, target hero banishes face down a random card from their hand. At the beginning of the end phase, return all cards banished this way to their owner's hand. So that's just an interesting little interesting ability there. So it banishes one of those cards that isn't going to be able to be used for defense now. So we're going to see what ends up happening without that. Now, taking a look at this, we see we do see a double block. So the throttle and high speed impact block value on the bottom right. So each of these blocking for 3. That's going to block all 6 of this damage. And he can now pitch his Smash Instinct here for 2 energy and then swing his Romping Club, which is going to be strength 5 because he discarded a card with 6 or more strength. There's no option for the Mechanologist to block this one. The only card in hand is a Plasma Purifier, and that card cannot block. That's the downside of having one of these items. Items cannot block. So having an item in your opening hand here against a Brute, not really what you most want to see. On the plus side for Dole here, our Mechanologist player, he is going to be able to redraw up to 4 because he did go second. So now he has a full hand with which to plan out some shenanigans, and I think there's a good chance that we're going to see. That Plasma Purifier played out here. So this was an unfortunate card to have on the defense, but at the same time, this is one of the core items for Mechanologist that they really want to play and get out on the field in order to start being more aggressive. Okay, so there's a little lag there. Dole asks me to flip cards in hand, but I corrected it. Okay, so I think under the circumstances, we're probably going to see loading up some of the pistols, maybe shooting. There's actually 2 items in hand, which is pretty unfortunate. I think there's a fair chance we're going to see that Techlocore pitched here, but we'll have to see. So he's going to load up the Induction Chamber. Induction Chamber is the default mech starting item in most circumstances. So the way this works is you can spend 1 energy and an action to put a steam counter on this if it doesn't already have one on it. And then as an attack reaction, you can remove the steam counter to give a Mechanologist pistol attack Go Again. And that only happens once per turn, but you can, in theory, shoot it and then you can load it and then shoot and use it and then use it again. So we are seeing him also loading up the classic Techlo Plasma Pistol. Action, remove a steam counter from the pistol to attack. Action, 1 energy. If there's no steam counters on it, put a steam counter on it and Go Again. So if he can set up a bunch of action points or a bunch of Go Agains, he can potentially load and fire this pistol repeatedly. So his first pistol shot here coming up at strength 2, and he does use his chamber to get that Go Again. So I think under the circumstances, what you probably want to do here is pitch the Techlocore, load either the... so he still has 1 energy left. So yeah, I think he wants to pitch the Techlocore, load the pistol and the chamber, then play the second chamber and put High Octane in Arsenal. Okay. I'm asking him to move the life counter onto the mat somewhere so that it's easier for the stream. And okay, so as predicted, we are going to see the Tekla core. We are going to see the Tekla core being pitched here, and then the induction chamber and plasma pistol are reloaded, and then we see the plasma purifier played. So this is another item that you can put a steam counter on to load up, and then once per turn you can remove a steam counter to use it, and this one's going to give the pistol +1 until the end of turn, so he can potentially use this to get that plasma pistol up to strength 3, and as we can see, this is a very dangerous setup, because with these items, our Mechanologist is threatening a lot of potential damage. You know, we could potentially see if that chamber is used, we could see 2 pistol shots at strength 3, so that's 6 total damage just from firing the weapon and using these things. Scab skin leather is used, gets a 5 here, so that's going to be 2 action points this turn. So scab skin leathers, that's a classic card for the brute here. Once per turn action, roll a 6-sided die, gain action points equal to half the number rolled, rounded down. Also defends for 2 with battle worn, so it can defend for 2 once and then again later for 1. But the main use of this card if you're trying to be aggressive with it is to potentially increase your action points. The danger being that if you roll a 1, you don't gain any action points and your turn ends. Very dangerous. So essentially, if you roll a 1, your turn ends. If you roll a 2 or a 3, you gain 1 action point, but you spent an action point to do it, so it doesn't really do anything on net. A 4 or a 5 will give you 2 action points, and a 6 will give you 3. So high risk, high reward. So we're seeing 2 sink belows pitched here. So he had these in hand, but he's actually going to pitch them, and he's going to play Arg Smash. This is a core card. Now he doesn't have. Okay, so he changes his pitch, plays the infamous Arg Smash, roll a 6-sided die, destroy up to X items, where X is half the number rolled rounded down. He's rolling the die. He gets a 6. That's brutal. So this would allow him to destroy both those items. This is a potentially an opportunity. The Gambler's Gloves coming out here. The Gambler's Gloves used by the Mechanologist to force a reroll. Mechanologist does not want to lose their items in pressure. Prairie Pirates, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? So this is a really key card for this matchup. So Arg Smash, destroying Mechanologist items is going to really compromise their setup, but okay, and the reroll's a 3, so that's only going to destroy 1 item instead of 2. And now the other Gambler's Gloves are also used. Double Gambler's Gloves. The third roll. Oh, it rolls a 1! Oh, no! Our brute player had this situation set up. He used those Gambler's Gloves to try to get more than 1 item destroyed, and he rolled a 1. He's going to destroy 0 items. This is a very bad situation for brute. I think if I were him, I probably would have just accepted the 1 item destroyed from the first roll instead of going for the reroll. I think that you don't really need to push your luck. Just destroying 1 item is itself a big setback to the Mechanologist. But unfortunately, he pushed his luck and got unlucky. This is a very major setback for Brute, and we'll see whether or not Mechanologist is going to be able to capitalize on it. Sorry, I was just saying something in chat, and I accidentally reset the camera. Okay, so we're back. All right, so really, really negative turn for Brute. He had his big play, his Arg Smash, core card in this matchup to break up Mechanologist's rig, but with the way that those rolls turned out, with the 2 Gambler's Gloves being used, he ended up not destroying anything and using his Gambler's Gloves in the process. That is not. Oh man, that's got to be a feels bad moment for Havok here. Let's see if he can come back from it, though. We know that he does have a defense reaction loaded up in Arsenal. So that should be interesting. Oh man, high octane coming out here. This is going to be big. Whenever you boost a card this turn, gain an action point, and then this draws a card and has go again. So this boost mechanic allows you to essentially take cards from the top of your deck and banish them. And if they're Mechanologist cards, your attack will get go again. So this high octane is going to mean that you also get an action point, which is really strong because it makes it so that even if your boost misses and you hit something that isn't a Mechanologist card, you're still going to get the action. You're still going to get an action point, and you can also potentially use it to just throw together a lot of pistol shots. So we start off with the Plasma Purifier being used to take that pistol attack up to strength 3, and then the first pistol attack coming in. Now this is going to be potentially a huge barrage of plays here, I feel. With this high octane, he has, I believe, 3 boost attacks in hand, though I'm not sure what his energy is like for playing them. The Brute player does not block, so then we do see the Induction Chamber being used to grant go again. Defense reaction coming out. The Sink Below is going to be played here. So that Sink Below that was in Arsenal is going to be played. I think he may just be playing this in part to get a... he may be playing this in part to just allow him to get a better item. So this is, not only does it cost 0 and block for 4, which is quite efficient, but it also lets you put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, and if you do draw a card, I'm a little curious as to why he used it here. I think that Havok maybe is trying to improve his hand quality. Normally, I would want to save it for an attack that's doing 4 damage so that I'm not wasting a bit of its defense. But that's okay. So then we see an Overblast pitched, and then its energy is being used to fuel up the Plasma Purifier and the Induction Chamber. We're then going to follow up with a 0 to 60 red coming in at strength 4. He boosts. Oh, that's a bit of bad luck. His boost hits a Plasma Purifier. You really do not want to hit your items with boost because this deck wants to like rig up and set up all their items. He does get the go again, but unfortunately he is going to have a powerful item banished, and that is now not going to be able to be come up for him anymore. So that's definitely not a positive thing. He would have preferred to hit a different card, but I don't know how many copies he's playing. It's possible he has some redundancy, and he does already have one out. So then he loads and fires his pistol for another 3 damage. He has another action after this because he did get the extra action from High Octane. So this is a big combo turn, incidentally. No block coming out, and so that's going to get in. He has this Pedal to the Metal, but he doesn't look like he has the energy to play it. Well, one thing he could do is he could engage his Teklo Foundry Heart. Yeah, so you could pitch his High Octane to engage the Teklo Foundry Heart. If he hits 2 Mechanologist items, that'll give him the energy that he needs to play the Pedal to the Metal, but I think he's going to opt for a more conservative option here. He loads, so he just pitches and uses the energy to load and fire the Plasma Pistol for another 3. That's his 3rd pistol shot of the turn, plus the 0 to 60. And our Brute player once again opts to just take the 3 damage. He's trying to maintain some tempo, which I think is usually a good idea against Mech. Dole, however, has another High Octane in hand, which I think is going to be put in Arsenal and could fuel another big turn next turn. So this is a pretty crazy situation. I have to say, having that Arg Smash fail was a big setback for Dole, or was a big setback for Havok, and Dole now does seem to be capitalizing a bit with this big turn of his own, and we'll see what Havok can do to try to get some momentum back. He's currently down 7 life. He does have slightly more equipment defense. Wow, he triggers Scab Skin Leathers and rolls another 1. That is awful. So his turn is just going to end. That is absolutely not what he wants to see here. So he rolled the 1, gain action points equal to half the number rolled, rounded down. 1 rounded down is 0. So that's going to be a skipped turn for our Brute. That is absolutely not what he wants to see. I do think that this is kind of a demonstration also of why using the Gambler's Gloves on that Arg Smash to try to get more than 1 item was so risky. There's a 50% chance that it would either do the same thing or do nothing. and you really want to keep those gambler's gloves to allow a potential reroll if you're in that situation where you roll the scab skin leathers and get a 1, which is awful. I don't know what he's doing here, so I think his turn is over. I think it's just a card in Arsenal, and that's the turn. I don't think there's anything else he can do. Maybe he's just thinking about what card he wants to use. I'm not sure. I mean, I think the Springboard Somersault is obviously the card you want in Arsenal. I'm a little confused here. Not entirely sure what's going on. If we look at the other thing, I think we're going to see another big high octane turn coming in from our Mechanologist. Yeah, Dole's saying you don't have any action points, right? So I think his turn is just going to be Arsenal and end. Yep, so Havok realizes, he realizes his opponent is right. He doesn't have any action points. I think he thought that he still had 1 and was figuring out what card to play, but he actually doesn't get to play anything at all. And with that, I think, Dole is now in a position to seize a huge advantage as he has another big high octane turn coming in. I think this game is really getting away from Havok here. Yeah, and this is one of the weaknesses of Brute, I feel. If you push your luck with those dice roll mechanics, sometimes you are not going to get lucky, and if you get unlucky enough, it can really punish you. So we'll have to see what happens here. But the situation doesn't look good for our Brute player. So a zipper hit coming out here, and it is boosted. So coming in at strength 5 with go again. Basic sort of attack here, nothing too fancy. It is going to give him an extra action point because we did see that second copy of High Octane played here. High Octane, very strong card. Fortunate to have 2 in a row. Defense reaction does come out. That Springboard Somersault that was put into Arsenal last turn played. Because it was played from Arsenal, it does get the +2, so it's going to block for 4. Only 1 damage is going to get through from that zipper hit. That's a good situation in some ways for Havok, but he's going to need... he's probably going to be facing several more attacks this turn. So I don't think that is by any means going to keep him safe. Now we see the plasma pistol loaded, the plasma purifier is being used, and the pistol is going to fire for 3 damage. Probably going to be followed up by the induction chamber for a go again. It looks like it is going to be blocked for 3 by a Barragian Braunhide. So this is a card. I'm not that fond of this card. It is a kind of weak attack that has a built-in barraging effect. So the barraging line of cards get better effects if they're defended by less than 2 non-equipment cards. So these can be good because they put pressure on the opponent to block more heavily, but just +1 to the attack damage. I don't know. I'm not sure that's enough pressure, especially for something that costs 3. So we do see the chambers being used, and then he's going to pitch the high-speed impact, and looks like he is going to be using that energy to load up his purifier, chamber, and pistol, and fire another pistol shot coming in for 3 damage. This time, Havok looks like he might just be taking the damage. Yeah, just does opt to just take the damage here. So then another pitch. Now I'm a little surprised. I feel like he could have gotten this attack in. I don't know. It costs 2 and it's not that good. I guess it's not really worth it. So then he fires a last pistol shot there by pitching the overloop, and then he will have the Fate Foreseen in Arsenal. So aggressive turn there from Dole, doing another fair chunk of damage here. So he rolls, I kind of followed the die off the field here, but he rolls a 4 for Scab Skin. So that's going to be 2 action points this turn. The thing is, I'm not sure if he has stuff that he's actually going to be able to do with 2 action. Oh yeah, he does. Okay, so he can use he can pitch this. Okay, so yeah, I'm not actually sure what he can do to. So I think I think his best option. Oh no, he's going to play the sand sketch plan. Okay, I was thinking this was going to be his pitch, but I guess he's going to play it instead. So I was thinking that he could pitch the sand sketch plan for 3, play this wrecker romp coming in for 7. It would discard that and intimidate, and then he would have 1 left over, and he could use what? So, okay, so I think they're playing this card a little wrong. So you search your deck for a card, put it into your hand, then you discard the random card and shuffle. And if the discarded card has 6 or more attack, then you gain 2 action points. Okay, so now they're gonna manage that more correctly here. I feel. We'll see what happens. Wow, he pulls the Arg Smash. Oh man, this is so risky. Okay, so he has the Arg Smash in hand. He's gonna try to break those items again to get the advantage on this Mechanologist, but there's a chance that he's gonna hit it with his random discard. Okay, this is so risky. His opponent's going to roll this die, I think, or choose a random discard. Which one does he choose? Okay. The Alpha Rampage. That is the best result possible for our Brute player. So this does then trigger an Intimidate, and he gains 2 more action points. So he now has 3 action points, now that he'll be able to use them. However, he will now be able. So this was really risky. This was not likely to succeed necessarily, but he did get it. So he's now going to be able to. He's now going to be able to pitch the Wrecker Romp and use his Tunic to get 3 energy and play another Arg Smash, which can potentially break that Plasma Purifier and or Induction Chamber. Okay, so yeah, he flips that card. That's the one that's intimidated. So now we're going to see, I think, the Tunic being used. That's 1 energy. And then the Wrecker Romp being pitched. So that's 3 energy, which is enough to play Arg Smash round 2. Let's see if this time the Brute is going to be able to smash those items from the Mechanologist. Roll a 6-sided die up to X items. X is half the number rolled, rounded down, gets a 3. So that's going to be 1 item. It's not the best, but it's not terrible. He opts to destroy the Induction Chamber. Okay, so with that Induction Chamber destroyed, that's going to be a serious setback for our Mechanologist. Previously, he could make 2 3-damage pistol shots this turn. Now he's only going to be able to make 1. I'm not sure if they shuffled, but I don't know. I'm not sure if he shuffled, but I don't know. It might not even matter. Okay, so the Intimidated card comes back, so the Mechanologist does have a full hand, but that pistol is now going to be a lot worse than it was previously because Mechanologist relies on those items to make their attacks more powerful. But whereas previously the Mechanologist was going to be able to fire 2 pistol shots at strength 3 if all items are being used, without the Induction Chamber, it's only going to be 1 shot at strength 3, so that's going to be substantially worse. Now, he does have some other attacks, though, and we're going to go for a boosted attack here with the boosted zipper hit. Boost does land. This is coming in at strength 4 because it is the 1-cost zipper hit. Let's see what our Brute player does on the defense here. He is far behind on life. Smashing that item was good, but he now only has 20 life to his opponent's 35, which is not where you want to be. On the other hand, he did successfully smash an item, and his Mechanologist opponent has already used 2 high octanes, which are one of the biggest big play cards that he has. So it's possible that this is going to be a substantial problem. We see a reckless swing, very interesting here. So this comes out as an additional cost to play it. Discard a random card. If the discarded card has 6 or more attack, deal 2 damage to the attacking hero. And he discards a Barraging Bighorn, so that does have enough attack, and that means 2 damage is inflicted, as well as that attack being blocked completely. Nice little move there from our Brute player, using his defense reaction, the Reckless Swing, to not only stop that attack, but inflict some damage as well. So now our Mechanologist is going to have to think about some options here. I think there's a good chance that we're going to see that Overloop in hand played and then boosted, and then the other card, the Tome of Fyendal, pitched and pistol loaded and fired. That seems likely to me. Does hit again and doesn't hit an item. So that's going to be 3 go again, and if this hits, I believe it goes to the bottom of the deck. Yeah, that's right. If Overloop hits, put it on the bottom of your deck. Our Brute player is thinking about what to do here. Opts to block with the Savage Feast. That is going to block this completely. So that card doesn't get to go to the bottom of the deck. However, we could now see that Tome of Fyendal pitched to enable 2. I was going to say 2 pistol shots, but it's not. It's just 1, because I forgot the item was destroyed. So I think we're going to see this pitched, 2 energy, 1. Yeah, then the Plasma Purifier is used, then 1 energy. Ooh, he does that in the wrong order. He just fires the pistol. He should have spent an energy to load the Plasma Purifier before doing that. Doing it that way means that his item is going to be unloaded for next turn, so that's a minor mistake, but potentially one that could cost him, because every single point of energy does matter in this game. Okay, so then Havok here isn't going to have a lot to do this turn. I think he's just going to pitch and swing his club for 4 in all likelihood. Yeah, pitch and swing club. And it is going to be stopped, though, by Fate Foreseen. So this is another defense reaction, and it opts. You can look at the top card of your deck, and then you can put it on at your bottom. Red Fate Foreseen and red Sink Below are kind of staple defense reactions. Both of them are 0 for 4 and have a pretty nice effect. Sink Below probably a little bit better, but Fate Foreseen still quite strong and debatably even better than Sink Below in some decks. Ranger, for instance, really likes knowing what that top card is. Okay. We're going to see a pitch here. Pitching a Pour the Mold, blue Pour the Mold. Now our Mech player has got to try to keep some pressure on. It's actually an interesting situation, because without a good item setup, the Brute is going to be significantly better. So right now, our Mechanologist can spend 2 energy to use the Plasma Purifier and shoot the pistol for 3. Ooh, and that's some very bad luck. He fires off a Combustible Courier and boosts, but the boost misses. So this is coming in for Strength 2. And he says, "I'm idiot, LOL." I think he opted with that Fate Foreseen, so he even knew that that card was going to be a non-mech card, and then it's blocked with the Skullcap there, used on the defense, blocks the attack completely. So there isn't the bonus, and that's the end of the turn. Yikes. Okay, so that was a costly turn for the Mechanologist, missing that boost. I think I would have used the boots there to get the extra action point and keep up the turn. But Havok says breathing room, really appreciating the situation. Pays 3 or pitches 3. And Joel confirms, I knew about CNC on top. Yeah, that Fate Foreseen. He left that card on top, so he knew it was there. Scabskin Leathers, this is risky. He gets a 3, so nothing gained, nothing lost. He'll have 1 action this turn. Okay, so he has one action this turn. He did pitch for 3, plays a Massacre, and then so if you discard a card with 6 or more, attack this turn, gains +2 and Intimidate, not relevant. So all it is just Strength 6. I think this Savage Feast might have been a better. I guess what he was really hoping for, though, was to hit the Scab Skins, which would have made his turn a lot better. But as it stands, he can still throw out a Strength 6 attack, which isn't horrible, and then put the Savage Feast in his arsenal. Potentially has something cool for the future. This Riled Up is a card that I haven't seen as often. It's also one that gets better if you've already discarded a expensive card. So the dream here would be to play the Savage Feast and then follow it up with one of those other cards, but not really an option here. I don't actually think he had the energy to support that. Okay, so coming in at Strength 6. This could be a block, but I think it's also possible our Mechanologist is just going to take damage. Dull opts to go in between, blocks 3, so it's kind of a half block. Doesn't block the attack completely, but is still going to prevent some damage and allow a turn. Ooh, and we do see a Spark of Genius in hand. I think we're likely going to see that played to fetch another one of the items this turn. Okay, 3 damage gets through. That's the end of the turn, so we are just going to see one card put into Arsenal by our Brute player. And it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. I think we're going to see pitch 6, load both items, play Spark of Genius. All right, there's load. And then we're going to see, pitch up to 4, Spark of Genius played for 2 to tutor out a induction chamber. So Spark of Genius, search your deck for a Mechanologist item with cost X, put it into the arena, and then shuffle your deck. If you boosted this turn, draw a card. There isn't a boost, but interestingly, this card actually costs 2X. So it's going to cost 4. Or it costs XX. I guess technically it's like, I don't know. I should check in whether that's supposed to be 2X or whether that's supposed to be X squared. But in either case, it's going to be 4 for this one. And then we do see another induction chamber coming out here. So essentially, our mech is back to the state that they were before the... Oh, no! Brute rolls Scab Skins and rolls another 1. Brute has been so aggressive with Scab Skins and is just getting punished for it. That's going to be another skipped turn. That is brutal. So most of the time with Brute, I think you don't want to be rolling Scab Skin Leathers, and this is why. The consequence of rolling a 1 is so negative. It's just going to shut down the turn. I guess with the stuff that he had in hand, he really wanted to have it because he has a bunch of stuff that kind of relies on having multiple actions to chain together. But having a skipped turn here is so bad given how important tempo is in this game. It's going to really hurt him. He's had some bad luck with these rolls. I will say that. He has had some bad luck. But sometimes you want to minimize even the opportunity to have bad luck. So we do see the Plasma Purifier being used. There's another pistol shot for 3. With the induction chamber set up again, our Mechanologist can go back to grinding away Brute's life total with these pistol shots. I'm not sure, we're going to see what happens here, but I'm not sure it's going to be a great situation for Brute. Block for 3. Chamber used for the go again. I think it's very possible we're going to see... okay, so energy. Okay, so loading up the stuff, that's fine. I think it's quite possible we're going to see a zipper hit here. We might even see zipper hit into CNC, which would be really just very brutal. This could be huge. Our Mechanologist Dole here has a big advantage in this game. Zipper hit comes out. Does it hit? It does hit. So this does have go again, coming in at strength 4 with go again. And then it's probably going to be followed up by a CNC, which is not I think what our Brute player most wants to see here. Especially because depending on how he blocks, he might not be able to stop. Well, he has his equipment, actually, so he'll be able to stop that unless he wildly overblocks zipper hit or something. But it's going to use a lot of his resources to do it, and he's going to be put in a bad spot again. So this has been a tough game for Brute. We'll see if Havok can make a comeback here, but Dole really has him on the ropes. Not only winning a lot on life, but also having a tempo advantage. 1 damage gets through from the zipper hit, and it is followed up by CNC, Command and Conquer, one of the best cards in the game. Defense reactions can't be played to Command and Conquer's Chain Link, and if it hits a hero, destroy all cards in their arsenal. So coming in at strength 6, and it is potentially going to, if it's not blocked completely, it is going to destroy that card in arsenal. It's going to be a difficult situation. Even if he blocks with both of the cards in hand, that's only going to block for 5. However, he could use his equipment, which is what he's going to have to do if he wants to stop this. Attack, he's going to have to either block with both cards in hand plus the skull cap, or he could block with just the massacre and then also the leathers and skull cap, and that would also be a total of 6. Not looking great for Havok here. Dole really has him on the ropes. No blocks. He's going to opt to take the damage. He loses the card in arsenal, but he's going to keep that little bit of extra momentum. That little teensy bit of extra momentum. I guess he wouldn't have been able to play that anyway because it would rely on a random discard, and he would have to get rid of the stuff in hand. Okay, it looks like I would not roll Scabskins here. No, he's going to go for it. He rolls the Scabskins. He's playing a little risky. He probably wants to do the draw from Tome and then potentially still have actions. Gets a 2. That's just going to be 1 action point. Okay, nothing lost though. I think personally, I don't know. I wouldn't play the Tome. I think you pitch Massacre, use Tunic, swing Club for 4, put Tome in Arsenal, and hope to have a good turn next turn. I don't know. It's a tough situation here. Yeah, so there's the so Tunic used, and that's pitched, and then a swing from the club for 4, and then the Tome of Fyendal in Arsenal. So Tome of Fyendal here, draw 2 cards. If it's played from Arsenal, gain 1 energy for each card in your hand. So if he puts that in Arsenal, next turn he can roll the Scabskins, hope to get 2 actions or more, and then he can use this, draw cards and heal, and then potentially do more stuff as well. So Tome has good synergy with Scabskin Leathers, but there is that chance that you're going to roll poorly and not get more than 1 action or even have your turn end. So we do see 4 damage getting through. Our mech player decides not to block against that one. And now the Tome is loaded into Arsenal for a potential heal later on. Now, interestingly, our mech player also has a Tome in hand, but first we're going to see a locked and loaded. There's the Plasma Purifier used. And there's the Plasma Pistol coming in for 3 damage again. These pistol shots have just been pretty unrelenting here. Brute was able to smash that induction chamber earlier, which did provide a setback, but the mech player's stroke of genius means that setup is back in effect. Tough situation here for Brute. And at only 10 life, these 3 damage pistol shots are really starting to threaten an end to the game. He also has an all-red hand, which is not at all what he wants here. Blocks for 3. Okay. Chamber used there for the go again. I think we're likely going to see at least 1 or 2 boost attacks thrown out this turn, as well as the pistols loaded up here. Yeah, pitch. So he's loading up. Pitches for 3. That's going to allow him to load the chamber and then throw out that zipper hit as well. And there's the zipper hit. And then if he hits his boost, he can fire a pistol shot at the end of the turn, coming in for 3. He does hit the boost. So strength 3 attack here. Blocked for 3. And then I think we are going to see that pistol shot to follow up for another 3 damage here. As if he were not using... Yeah, he has the extra action point. I think it's just going to be a pistol shot. Yep, there's the pistol shot. Another 3 damage coming in towards Havok here. Looks like he's going to opt to take the damage this time, maybe? I'm not sure. Havok is really, really far behind right now. He's going to just take the damage. Now, on the plus side, if he uses that tome, he can then heal 3, so it's going to basically negate the damage that he just suffered. But it's a hard spot to be in here. Just all these pistol shots coming in. Ooh, and we do see a induction chamber in hand. So this Mech may be able to rig up even further. Another one from Scab Skin Leathers. This is ridiculous. Oh, I feel for Havok here. These rolls have been just brutal. They're basically, I honestly feel like rolling these ones at key moments has basically taken him out of the game. I don't think he's going to be able to come back from this. To be fair, I think that he did push his luck unnecessarily. I don't think that he had to roll in all these circumstances. I wouldn't have rolled that first. I wouldn't have rerolled that Arg Smash. I think one item is enough. But it's tough. It's you roll that Scab Skin Leathers, and half the time you're going to gain a benefit, but 1/6 of the time your turn is just over and you lose a lot of tempo. And that's unfortunately the result that we've seen several times now. So Havok, I think, unfortunately, this game has kind of turned into a showcase of some of the negative aspects of Brute, where if you are pushing your luck, there is that chance that you're going to just get real unlucky, and that's going to be that. Yeah, tough situation. Mech, Joel here with the Mech, and meanwhile is in a happy spot. He's just been loading, and he loaded, he fired his pistol. It was blocked, and now I think we're going to see him play another induction chamber here. The classic, the old standby. There's the induction chamber. Not looking good. Not looking good for our Brute player with another chamber out. That now means we can potentially see 3 pistol shots at strength 3 in a single turn. And that's 9 damage. Yeah, that's actually lethal. So we're really going to see Brute being pushed here on defense. He rolls the Scab Skins again. This time he gets a 4. Two actions for Brute. This could be the chance he needs to do something. He's far behind, but at least it's something. Let's see what happens. I think he wants to pitch his blue here and trigger his. That's a yellow, actually, not a blue. So then he triggers the Tome of Find All, draw 2 cards. Because it was played from Arsenal, he will heal 1 for each card in his hand. So he's going to draw 2. He'll have 4 cards in hand. That will heal him 4, putting him at 11. And he does still have another action because he did get the bonus action from Scab Skins. This is probably what he was hoping to do some time ago before those nasty rolls kicked in. He can now... he doesn't really have that much to do with it. I don't know. I think you just CNC here, probably. And it looks like Havok agrees with me, throwing out a CNC, coming in at strength 6. Once again, one of the strongest cards in the game. Defense reactions can't be played to Command & Conquer's Chain Link. If Command & Conquer hits a hero, destroy all cards in their arsenal. So this is going to need to either be blocked completely or it's going to destroy that card in Arsenal. One of the things that can be so good about Command & Conquer is if you're playing it, you're basically ensuring that your opponent will not have a 5-card hand, which is to say they have to either lose some cards from hand or they have to lose their arsenal. Either way, they won't be able to play 5 cards in their next turn. The one exception is that in certain rare circumstances, it is possible for someone to fully block Command & Conquer with equipment only. This is not normal, but it is possible to have happen. For instance, so right now he could only block 3 with equipment, but like there are some scenarios where you could be like, oh, if the opponent's armor is totally untouched and they have a lot of armor, they can potentially stop a CNC just with that armor and not spend a card. But I don't know that I've ever even seen that happen. Maybe I've seen it once or twice. It's a rare thing to have happen. Normally, CNC is going to get some cards out of the opponent's, either out of the opponent's hand or out of the opponent's arsenal. And either way, you're limiting their options for next turn, which is part of why it's such a strong card. It's really a staple. Okay, and it looks like Dole opts to take the 6 and is going to lose that Tome of Fyendal that was in Arsenal. 20 life. 20 life is a 20 life's a big number when your opponent's at 11. Now, this is potentially actually a really good hand here for for Havok, our brute player, because he has a Blood Rush Bellow and a Barraging Beatdown Red. Those are really good in conjunction with one another. He can, play this, then he can use his Tunic to play the Blood Rush Bellow. He discards one of these. It's guaranteed to give him the draw 2 cards and go again. And, that could potentially really be setting him up for a good moment. But the problem is he's going to have to endure a turn of aggression from our Mechanologist player. And I'm not sure if he's going to be up to that task. We'll see if he is. Personally, I might just try to take damage and go for broke. I think it's at least conceivably possible that a ultimate brute combo can actually deal 20 damage and kill the opponent outright. I think that the odds of him getting that are low. I don't know exactly how it would have to pan out that would allow him to do that. But he could at least conceivably have a big turn of his own, and I think he maybe needs to try to go for that now and try to get a big turn in order to get back in the game. So even though he's low on life, I would be looking to take damage here and block either not at all or with equipment only. Let's see, though, if our brute player agrees with that assessment. I'm not sure if that's going to be the same game plan from me. From him than it would be from me. I think, honestly, even with that, though, I think it's desperate because I don't think he's going to be able to do 20 damage with his opponent's armor untouched. I think it's extremely unlikely. If he can get his opponent to 2 health, he could potentially finish him off with that Reckless Swing. Even that is not necessarily likely. But because the Mechanologist has now set up, our Brute's only hope is to close the game fast. Okay, he blocks with CNC. The other chamber is used for another go again. The problem is I think this is going to be followed up by a CNC from our Mech player, which is just going to be horrible. Horrible for Brute. I mean, I think he's probably just going to have to take the damage. I don't know. It's really not looking good for Brute here. Mech just loading up the various items, pitches, and I think we're going to see CNC. Pitch into CNC. Coming in at strength 6. Once again, one of the best cards in the game, and really showing its value in this situation where no matter what Brute does, they're going to lose at least 1 card and not be able to have as big a turn as they were hoping. I think the best option might be to take, I don't know. It's looking bad. It's looking real bad. Now, he could block with just 1 card in hand plus his Scabskin Leathers and Arcanite Skullcap, and that would block all 6. So that is an option that would successfully stop the attack and protect his arsenal. We'll see what happens there. Now, let's see what's going on here. So he's putting that card onto the bottom of his deck, which he should have done last turn. Thinking about this defense here. Let's see what happens. It's a tough decision. This game has a lot of decision points with the way that blocking works and planning out your turn. He's thinking about how he most wants to address this. Looks like he's not going to block. He's going to take the 6 damage and lose his card in Arsenal, but it is going to allow him... can't play that. I'm pointing it out. Yeah, so Command and Conquer defense reactions can't be played against it. So he was hoping that he could play the defense reaction that he had in Arsenal to clear it out, block some damage, and prevent him from losing the card, but he can't do it. So at this point, I think he should just take it, go to 2 life, throw out the biggest combo he can. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to win this game, quite frankly. But he does say, taking 6, he takes it. He's going to lose the card, but he does have the opportunity to play Bloodrush Bellow, and maybe, just maybe, he can get lucky enough to somehow turn this game around. I don't know, though. 2 life to 20 with a Mechanologist that's pretty rigged up. I'm not sure this one's going to go his way. In fact, I'm pretty sure it won't, but we'll see. Do not use Scabskins here. Do not use Scabskins here, bro. So he needs to play Barraging Beatdown and then his Bloodrush Bellow. If he plays the Beatdown first and then the Bellow, he's guaranteed to hit his random discard on a card that has 6 or more attack. So the way that Bloodrush Bellow works, really core card to Brute. As an additional cost to play it, discard a random card. Your Brute attacks gain +2 this turn. If the discarded card has 6 or more attack, draw 2 cards and it gains Go again. So in this case, he could use his Tunic to play this. It would, and then it would discard a random card. But if he plays the Barraging Beatdown first, then the Bloodrush discard is guaranteed to hit the Barraging Bighorn, which will then cause the Bloodrush to trigger, giving him extra cards. He pitches the Beatdown. What is that? No, that's not what he needs to do here. He needs to use that Tunic. Oh, he doesn't see it. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's going to put him in a significantly weaker spot. That red Beatdown was going to be important to push damage through. So he does get an Intimidate here. Ironically, he intimidates the item in his opponent's hand, the one thing that wasn't able to block. But he is going to get the 2 draws also from the Bloodrush Bellow, and it gets Go again. His draws are, wow, really poor actually. There's not really a lot of follow-up that he can do here. His best option is probably just going to be to pitch and swing the club, which is going to be for 7, but it's not going to be what he most wants to see here, I think. So maybe even with that Barraging Beatdown, not played. Yeah, so the thing is, if he had played the Beatdown, he could then play the Awakening Bellow to intimidate another card, and then swing the club, and it would be... this would have itself intimidated, so then there would only be 1 card left. So the beatdown effect would be guaranteed to land, and the attack would be coming in for, 11 damage. And the opponent would only be able to block with 1 card, but even that isn't going to be enough. He's only at 2 life here, and his opponent is at 20, so an 11 damage turn is actually weak. In order to win this game, I think he would have had to hit some dream combo of hitting multiple Bloodrush Bellows or whatever in order to get a large number of buffs on an attack and then intimidate the opponent's whole hand. Pitches and swings club. Okay, that's basically what I expected here. Pitching and swinging the club, it is going to be for a total of 7 because the club does get +1 if you discard a card with 6 or more, so that is strength 5, and then the Bloodrush Bellow gives Brute attacks +2. So coming in at strength 7, but unfortunately with 20 life left, our Mechanologist is going to be able to afford to take this and just come back swinging with multiple pistol shots, I feel. I don't know. It's not looking good for Brute. Normally I think this matchup is considered to favor Brute with aspects like the Arg Smash being able to destroy Mechanologist's items. That's actually really important. So he thought it was only 5, but it is actually 7. He didn't realize that Bloodrush Bellow counted for weapons. That's an interesting thing to look at in this game. So some effects are going to buff all attacks, and some are only going to buff weapon attacks. An example of that is Warrior's Valor in Warrior is going to buff only your next weapon attack, I believe. But if you play a hit and run, it's just going to buff your next attack regardless of whether or not it's a weapon attack or an attack action card, assuming, of course, that you have the trigger enabled. Okay, so we do see the defense reaction Fate Foreseen used there. Allows him to block 4 and opt. Then he takes 3 damage down to 17. The problem is he can easily afford to do that. So Brute had some big cards this turn, but wasn't I think really big enough to get the result he was hoping for. And I do think I'm not sure the game will end this turn, but I think it's gonna. We're now at a stage where Brute is going to have to spend much of his hand blocking. Oh, and there he has 2 Blood Rush Bellows in a row, but unfortunately, it wasn't quite the right lineup that he needed. High Octane coming out here. That's a big problem for our. That's a big problem for our. That is a big problem for our Brute player. 0 to 60. 0 to 60 Red coming out here, strength 4. His boost does hit a Mech card, so it has go again, and it is going to give him an additional action point thanks to High Octane. I think he can then spend that additional action point to draw with Tome of Fyendal, potentially fueling an even bigger turn. Breakneck Battery used to block, so blocking 3. 1 damage does get through. So this Brute is going to be left on 1 hit point. That's not where you want to be, but I'm not sure what other options he has. I think I probably would have blocked that additionally with the Skullcap to try to prevent from going to 1, but maybe it doesn't matter. It's a desperate situation either way. One damage is through. No defense reaction. Now, I don't think he has a defense reaction, so I'm not sure if he was thinking about other things or bluffing or considering trying to say, no, wait, I'll block with more stuff. Not entirely sure. But I think we're going to see our Mech player. I would probably pitch here and use the. Or no, he already has some pitch. Yeah, I think I used the Tome of Fyendal. Yep, there's the Tome of Fyendal used with the bonus action point that he got there from the High Octane. Going to draw him 2 cards. Doesn't heal him. So this is that same card we were discussing earlier. Draw 2 cards if it's played from Arsenal. Gain 1 life for each card in hand. It doesn't heal him because he didn't have any cards in Arsenal. Loads up, pitches. Looking grim. I think we're going to see a hail of bullets here. Plasma Purifier used. Pistol loads and fires. Coming in at strength 3. One of the Blood Rush Bellows from hand used to block. That Induction Chamber then used for go again. This is a stalwart item. Usually Mechanologist is going to start with this in play. They can pick an item from their deck to put in play at the start of the game, but it's almost always Induction Chamber because of how strong it is. And just removing those tokens or Steam counters to give go again is really powerful. It's not looking good for our Brute player here. Zipper hit coming in. That's going to be a strength 4 zipper hit. Does hit a Mechanologist card, so that is going to be strength 4 with go again. And that's going to need not only a card, but also a piece of equipment on the defense. And I believe it will be followed up by another. What it should actually be followed up by here is pitch, activate Foundry Heart, because you can potentially do 2 pistol shots if you get 2 energy. And that the 2 pistol shots, I think, would be game over, actually. Is that right? I think that's right. So he's going to have to block. I don't know why he doesn't use his second Skullcap block here. I would use, maybe he has 2 tokens stacked on top of each other. I'm not sure. Blocks for 5 here. No attack reaction. So I think you pitch and engage the Foundry Heart. No, he just fires the pistols. This is a little worse than what he could do. If he used the Foundry Heart first, he would be able to potentially fire 2 shots, but maybe he knows that he has a non-Mech card up top or something. Pistol shots coming in for 3. Blocked from hand, but that's going to leave our Brute without any cards for this next turn. Mech did waste an action point there. Could have potentially triggered the Tekla Foundry Heart to get another pistol shot, which I believe, I guess it could have been blocked by all 3 items, so it wouldn't have closed the game, but would have done some more damage. And now Brute is going to have a sad turn here. You know, earlier he had some turns that he didn't really get because of the Scabskin Leathers rolling a 1, but now he's going to have a turn where he just doesn't really do anything because he doesn't have any stuff in his hand. Okay, we see a pitch. Mechanologist keeping the pressure on. A zipper hit comes in and it is boosted. Boost lands. So coming in, this is a red one, I think, so it's coming in at strength 5 with Go Again. That's going to merit defense from multiple cards, either from hand or cards plus equipment. Not a good situation for Brute. There's still 2 energy floating, and there's still some fair amount of energy in hand, as well as another red zipper hit. Okay, so Scabskin Leather is used in the defense, and he uses the Sink Below to send this Remembrance to the bottom of his deck. Sorry I didn't get the highlight there, but that was a good move because Remembrance is an instant and can't block. Okay, so he didn't draw one for unknown reasons. Zipper hit comes out, and once again the boost lands, coming in at strength. I believe this is also strength 5 with Go Again. That's going to merit either 2 cards or a card in both pieces of equipment here to stay alive, assuming that Arcanite Skullcap can block again. It's possible there's 2 counters on it, and I can't see them both. I think this turn might well end the game. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Counting your chickens and all that, but yeah, so he asked if Arcanite can block again. It can. So he's going to block for 2, and then he's going to block with an so Arcanite and Skullcap and his Tunic, and then he's going to have to block with another card from hand to stop this completely. But he can do it. But now he's going to face some pistol shots. In this situation, if you had to choose between taking 3 pistol shots at strength 2 or 2 at strength 3, the 3 at strength 2 would be better and would actually win the game. So there's so there's the block. That attack is prevented. He has the Foundry Heart too, though. I think he can just win. Okay, so he's going for the strength 2 attacks. Strength 2, chamber used. Then he pitches. Yeah, he doesn't need the Foundry Heart. He loads and fires again. Blocked. Other chamber used. Last energy used to load and fire the pistol. That's the 2 damage. And that's going to end the game. Havok says, dead, LOL. So that's going to do it. So interesting game there, guys. So we saw our Mechanologist player here. Really, I think the big thing here was the brutal rolling 1s from Brute. Rolling those 1s on the first with the rerolled Arg Smash, which to be fair, I do think was a mistake, but even still, the rerolled Arg Smash, rolling a 1, that's nasty. And then the multiple turns where Scabskin Leathers rolls a 1 and ends the turn and just kills his tempo. Against Mechanologist, it's important that you maintain tempo and attack aggressively, try to prevent them from setting up. Brute has the tools to do that, but some bad luck and some strong plays from Dole, plus some, maybe exposing himself to bad luck in situations where he didn't need it, led to Havok just getting wrecked here, unfortunately. And to be fair, he did manage to do some damage. He did get his opponent down to 17, but 17-0 is not the closest game in the world. No disrespect, Havok, if you're listening to this, you did get real unlucky with those rolls. But yeah, that's Brute for you. Unfortunately, if you press your luck, sometimes there is a chance that you're going to get hit. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back later with some more Flesh and Blood content. I will catch you guys later.